Hi, folks. Well, that was exciting and stimulating and frustrating all in equal measure. From my reckoning, we have 5 tables that were working effectively and a few people who were on tables where the cameras and mics wouldn't work. Um, uh, if I can just ask this quick sort of housekeeping question, I've got Lynn, Carolyn, Kim, Duncan, Alison, Ruth, and Jane who were on tables, but their mic and cameras weren't working. Um, do you know what your issue is, or is there a question you need to ask in the chat now so that Bev knows how to help you when we go into the second game? That's Lynn, Carolyn, Kim, Duncan, Alison, Ruth, and Jane. I could see you on tables, but I couldn't communicate with you. So just hit us up in the chat now if there's anything you need help with. While they're just having a think about that, could I ask the other tables who were playing the game? I'm really sorry I didn't get a chance to sit and actually see how you were playing. Have you got a favourite? Have you started now to pull things onto your handout? And have you got a favourite in the strategies that you found so far? There's obviously 50 to get through, and you won't have got through all of those. But can you just put a number and a title in the chat, please? Jane, thanks a lot. You freshen it seems to work. That's lovely. But what was your favourite strategy and what was the card number? The importance of this, popping this in the chat now, is that if you found a favourite that nobody else has come across yet, putting it in the chat now will help them go, do you know what? I like that one as well. I've definitely got some favourites, though, of course, I love all of them. So Paul's popped 20 and provocation down there. Have you come across provocation yet? Actually, it's not dissimilar to one of the things that Jeff was talking about this morning. So 20 and provocation, does that pique your curiosity? If so, pop it down on your own form and you can investigate it later. Thanks, Karen. 37 plus minus equals. That's a really lovely strategy. It saves the teacher a load of time, puts the emphasis right back on the learner. Number 37 plus minus equals. Sue Berry, 3 provocation. So we've got 2 on provocation there. We'll check that card number out later. 20 provocation again, and polishing your presentation. Polishing your presentation is a lovely strategy. How many times have we watched learners doing that sort of old dither routine, or they have a PowerPoint slides crammed full of text? Actually, we had one of those earlier, didn't we? How to help them overcome that sort of problem. So look at card 5 for polishing your presentations, if that's something that would be valuable to you. Haley, you've got one of my favorites in there. Card number 12, Meerkat Moments. What on earth is Meerkat Moments all about? If we've got camera and video, I'd be asking Haley to say why she'd chosen that one. It's a fabulous strategy. It's something that teachers, too many teachers, just don't even consider as being part of teaching. I'd recommend you have the word meerkat moment, or the phrase meerkat moment, by your desk when you're designing learning experiences, and to see how you can integrate it all the way through your session. Powerful. Number 12. Jackie, thank you. Collaborative research, number 4. That was from a graphic design lesson that I saw that just blew my mind. It's the best lesson on research skills, developing learners' attitude and research skills I've ever seen. So thank you for choosing that one. There's still 2 favorites that haven't popped up yet, but here we go with Leonardo's number 15, apply a concept. That will be within use within days. Leonardo, you've made my day there. You'll be using it within days. Actually, that's a punchline for where we're going by the end of this session, is to design a research lesson in which you choose one or a handful and just have a go, try something new. Jeff was talking about something similar. Just try one thing. You might not get it right first time. That's why you tell your learners, I'm going to do a research lesson. We're going to try something new. Or you might just sneak it in there and you see what happens. Okay, so we've got game 1 done. That's introduce you to the cards. But we're still at the bottom of Bloom's taxonomy. We're going to creep up now into the application stage. What I want you to do now is to be able to apply the right learning assessment strategy for a given teaching situation. Now, I've got my heart in my mouth here because we're going to be going back into the breakout tables soon. I'm just got all my fingers crossed that it's going to work. Can I suggest that here's the strategy? Find a table, put your camera and your mic on, of course, And if it's not working, just go to another table. Forget the groups of 4. Just find a table that works. Because when we all move from table 2 to table 4, suddenly it seemed to work. That move, goodness knows why. Bev will help out, I'm sure. But let me introduce you to game 2 now, because this is where it starts to get really interesting. When we do this live, face-to-face, people end up banging the tables and really having heated discussions. And you'll see why that's so powerful for the whole pedagogy approach of game-based learning. You're going to need 50 Shades of Assessment cards. You're going to need a new deck of cards, the Community Challenge cards, and you're going to need page 2 of your handout, which has got the rules for game 2. It's simple, even though there are 10 rules. Let me take you now to the, resource page again. So let me share my screen. It's that one. I'm going to go back to the resource page. This is the link you were sent in your joining instructions. And you can see we've got card deck for game 2 here. I will pop that link in the chat as well, so you can go direct to the game. But let me click on it and you can see how game 2 looks in comparison to game 1. Now you've got 2 decks of cards. The top deck, you can see all these spots along the bottom. You've got 50 along there, all with a card number. So let's just zoom in on this first one. This is a lesson that you're all going to consider and say, okay, who's got the best assessment strategy in your pack of cards, in your hand of cards for this particular lesson? So the way you do that, well, actually, before I move on, as long you can choose any of these spots or use the green arrows, as long as you all say, well, we're going to look at lesson number 22. So that will be teaching a concept. And in here, it's in your hospitality lesson, you are looking at the importance of understanding your own and others' body language. So that's that one. And the next one will be something very different. This is theory analysis lesson. This is in travel and tourism lesson. So you can see there's lessons from all over the place. By the way, these are all real lessons that I've collected over the years. Here's a music lesson. You get the idea. As long as you're all on the same number card, that's all we want. It's down here that the good stuff happens. You've been dealt this time 5 cards by the computer, and you can see them all here. So you can see your hand of cards, and you can see the titles: group critique, discuss a question, silent minute, perfect lesson notes, wiki assignments. So what you got to do is look at the lesson that you're discussing and then have a quick read of each of your cards and decide which is the best assessment strategy for this lesson. When you've all decided, someone will say, is everybody ready? And you go, yeah, I'm ready. You then have to do your pitch and say, well, I think group critique is the best assessment strategy for this lesson, and here's why. And then you argue your case, you present your case. Then the next person will say, actually, no, I think it's going to be meerkat moments. That's definitely the best strategy for this lesson, and here's why. When all 4 of you have argued your point, you then have to agree who's won. So as the 4 of you, you have to say, do you know what? I think meerkat moments is the best one for this, or whatever the strategy is, perfect lesson notes. However, you can agree a draw. Now, this isn't a cop-out. This is a really important strategical part of the game. You can agree a draw, but I'm not going to say why. I'll let you figure that out, and we'll use that as a punchline question later on. So the only other thing to say about this game is when we play this face-to-face, once you've used a card, you ditch it and pull another one in. So you're only ever having to learn one new strategy in your hand. It doesn't quite work like that electronically. So when you've played 3 rounds, I'd shuffle the deck, that's F5, or hit the little circular arrow for refresh, and give yourself another 5 cards. Once you've used 3, the chance of having something really relevant to a lesson reduces too much. So use 3, shuffle your deck, and away you go. So I'm going to show you again where that comes from. It's card deck for game 2. I'm also going to grab the link, stop my screen share, pop the link in the chat, and ask you all now to click on that link, please. Are there any quick questions anybody wants to ask in the chat, please, before Bev sends us all back to the tables? And again, just a reminder, find a table where all of the cameras work. And if you're having real problems, go to table 1 and I'll join you there and see if I can assist. I think that's probably one strategy for helping resolve these technical hiccups. It's the card deck for game 2, please, Jane. And so you should find you've got that buff coloured card at the top and then the collection of 5 at the bottom. I'm just going to click on that link myself and just double check. Yeah, it's taking you straight there. This is great. Okay, Bev, can I ask you to open the, send us all back to the tables, please? Fingers crossed that the tech's going to work for us. See.